You've been there, right? At work with so-called friends, maybe even family, someone says something that just cuts you down. It's infuriating, it's frustrating, and honestly, it can make you feel completely powerless. Well, today, that all changes. We're going to build a complete toolkit of psychological strategies to not just handle disrespect, but to actually understand it, reclaim your cool, and take control of the situation. Let's get right into it. So just think about it for a second. When it happens, what's your go-to reaction? You feel your face get hot, right? Do you just clam up and say nothing? Or maybe you think of the absolute perfect comeback, but like 10 minutes too late. Yeah, most of us have a default setting. And spoiler alert, it's usually the wrong one. Most people fall into one of two camps. Either you explode with anger, you start yelling, getting all defensive, which pretty much just proves to them that they got under your skin. Or you do the opposite. You shut down completely. You say nothing, but you're just feeling crushed on the inside. And here's the crazy part. Whether you blow up or you shut down, the result is exactly the same. You've just handed all of your power over to them. So to fight back, first, we've got to understand the psychology of why this even happens in the first place. See, disrespect isn't random. Nope. It's almost always a test. It's a test of your boundaries, a test of your confidence, and a test of where you stand in the social hierarchy. Let's break down what's really going on inside their head. It pretty much boils down to one of three things. It could be a straight-up power play. They just want to see if they can get a rise out of you and own the situation. A lot of the time is projection. They're basically trying to dump their own insecurities onto you so they can feel a little better about themselves. And sometimes it's just about getting attention, because some people just love creating drama. And this gets to the absolute heart of it. You got to think of it as a fundamental, kind of dark fact of how we interact. It's not always this deep personal attack on who you are. A lot of the time, it's just this primal, unconscious social test. And once you see it as a predictable test, you can start preparing to pass it with flying colors. Okay, so how do you pass this test? Well, the first and, believe me, the most powerful move is going to feel completely wrong. It's not some witty comeback. It's not a sharp insult. It's silence. Let me show you how to use it. This is so simple, but it is incredibly powerful. The second that disrespectful comment lands, you say nothing, not a word. You just pause. Then you look right at them with calm, steady eye contact. No anger, no fear, just a look. And you hold that silence for a few seconds. Trust me, that silence is heavier than any words you could ever say. It completely short-circuits what they were expecting. And in that quiet, all the pressure shifts right back onto them. And here's why it works. People are instinctively intimidated by those they can't easily trigger. When you refuse to give them the reaction they want, you are sending a powerful nonverbal message. Your words have no power over me. Your emotional control shows superior strength. And in that one moment, the entire power dynamic just flips right in your favor. Okay, so once you've established control with that powerful silence, you might actually need to say something. But it can't be just anything. It has to be tactical. So now we're going to build your verbal toolkit for dismantling disrespect, piece by piece. We're going to cover 4 specific verbal responses. I want you to think of them like tools in a toolbox. Each one is designed for a different kind of situation, to calmly and effectively put the pressure right back where it belongs, on them. Let's look at the toolkit. First up, the calm question. Just asking, what did you mean by that? In a totally neutral tone. It's brilliant. It forces them to explain themselves. They either have to own up to being a jerk, or they have to backtrack and look ridiculous. Next is the power dismissal. A quick noted or interesting said with zero emotion shows their words had absolutely no impact. It's like they threw a punch and hit nothing but air. Then there's the mirror technique, which is also super powerful. You calmly repeat their insults back to them as a question, like lazy, huh? It just throws all that awkward energy right back on them. You make their word the focus, not your reaction. And finally, a little bit of controlled humor. Like a sarcastic, wow, is that the best you've got? Can totally expose their attempt as weak and, frankly, a little desperate. Now, those tactics are for the in-the-moment jabs, but what if it's a pattern? What if it's the same person over and over again? Then you have to shift from a tactical response to a long-term strategy. You absolutely must set a hard, clear, and non-negotiable boundary. Now look, this is not a request. It's a declaration.
You say this calmly, firmly, and with 100% conviction. Notice you're not asking for respect, you are demanding it. And even more importantly, you're attaching a clear consequence. This isn't a threat, it's a promise.
And this is exactly why setting that boundary is so critical. You are actively training the people around you how they are allowed to treat you. If you tolerate disrespect, you're teaching them it's okay. By setting a firm boundary, you're teaching them it's not.
So we've covered silence, we've covered verbal tactics, and we've covered setting boundaries. All of these techniques are actually part of a much bigger master concept in psychology. See, the endgame here isn't just about winning a single interaction. It's about achieving what's known as frame control.
So what in the world is a frame? Well, think of it this way. In any conversation, there's a controlling perspective, a lens that defines what's really happening. And whoever controls that frame controls the reality of the situation. If you get angry, they've set the frame. If you get sad, they've set the frame. All of these techniques we've talked about, they're all about you seizing control of that frame. So let's bring it all together. Controlling the frame means you do not react emotionally. That's just giving it away. You use silence and calm questions to take the frame back. You set firm boundaries to defend your frame against those repeat attacks. And always remember the ultimate power move. Sometimes the strongest way to control the frame is to simply walk out of it. Your absence can be the loudest possible answer. At the end of the day, respect isn't something you're just given. It's something you command with your presence, with your control, and with your absolute refusal to be shaken. So I'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. In the most important interactions in your world, who is really in control of the frame?